busy show tonight, a bit of a Cage Warriors special we've got in our hand, obviously with another Cage Warriors trilogy closing in fast on us, and I'm sure everybody watching this is excited about the trilogy, so just quickly, obviously, we've got Stevie McIntosh joining us in the show, who's making his long-awaited debut in one of the big shows. Stevie, unluckiest man in MMA. I'm so happy that you're finally getting in there and getting to show the British and European public what you can do.
I'm not getting excited until this COVID test done.
I take it you've heard the new test they're doing. It's a rectum test they're doing for this one, mate, aye?
I'm up for that anyway.
I thought you'd be into that. And also joining us in the show, we have Jordan VUCENIC. I hope I've not fucked your name up, Jordan.
Nah, do you know what? That's all right. I wasn't too bad.
I've heard about 6 different pronunciations of it. So again, Jordan, thanks very much for coming on the show and chatting to us.
Yeah, no worries.
We're also joined by the champ, Mr. Luke Shanks. Luke, how's it going, mate?
Good, thanks, my man.
So, guys, I guess we'll jump straight into it. So, Stevie, I want to talk to you a wee bit first, obviously. Tell us a wee bit about what the preparation's been like. Obviously, it's been a while for yourself, and you're back in there. This is the biggest fight of your career so far. How have things been? How have things been going for you?
Yeah, good man. Just been kind of. I'm not just treating it like any other fight, to be honest. It's not indifferent. It's just got a good opponent in front of me. But I'm prepared, man. It's nothing new. It's nothing that I've not seen before. It's just I'm looking forward to getting in there now. Like you say, it's been a long time. Luckily, I managed to get a fight right before the COVID hit in February there, so that was kind of fortunate. But I've been waiting for this opportunity for a while, and I'm glad it's finally here and I can get to show everybody what I can do.
Aye, that's it. And James, obviously, you've been waiting for this chance to come along for Stevie. The opportunities, just things have happened that have prevented it. And just for you as a coach, how happy are you that Stevie's finally getting that opportunity in a big show? And probably out with the UFC right now, Cage Warriors are the best show going, I would say, with the fights they're putting on and just the way they're running their promotion, especially these trilogy cards they're doing.
It's been almost like a personal victory for me, to be honest, because I was trying to get him to a big show for a long time. He'd a big unbeaten run at amateur and stuff like that, and well, obviously pro debuts and all that stuff, kind of local, and there's been so many opportunities came up and just fell through. Like he had the fight on M1 sorted and it fell to bits, and then with the offer at Bellator when he was injured and stuff. So I've said to him, I think I even said it about a couple of years ago, I was like, it's one of my priorities in this just to get him signed to one of the bigger shows. And a Cage Warrior suits him. I think it's just, there's a lot of hard fights and stuff there, but there's consistency there with him. And we didn't have a lightweight at Cage Warriors just now, so it's tied in well. And the timing's been good. So it's been a long wait for him. I think everybody up here knows what he's capable of. Interviews with what Stevie Ray after beating Joe Loza and stuff like that, and just saying what you need to look at for Stevie McIntosh. He's going to be our next guy, and so we're 10 days in, and we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, that's it. I guess immediately, as soon as he gets signed, the focus switches to getting him signed to now getting him prepared and making sure everything goes to plan in the fight.
Aye, it's been a different fight camp, obviously with the COVID and stuff, but we've been fortunate that Danny Henry's been doing a lot of work with him and stuff like that, so Danny can replicate this kid's style quite a bit, and obviously Danny's vastly more experienced and fought a much higher level of opposition than the guy, but
yeah,
it's been alright, man. Like I said, Stevie's been ready for this for a while, and it's just about here now, so we can get cracking on with fighting Cage Warriors.
Perfect. And Jordan, just for you, obviously you're coming into the fight against Paul Hughes after a really good victory over Steve Amiable, which I just watched that fight back. Actually, that was I really enjoyed that fight. But we'll maybe touch on that in a moment. I asked you off camera about this and what you thought, and I think James is going to say my opinion to me. Is a win here, and it looks like this should be a title eliminator, this fight, and next up would be whoever wins that belt. Have you got that feeling for the promotion yourself that without them announcing it, that this is potentially the future if you get the win against Paul Hughes?
Yeah, that's sort of what I thought. That's what my coaches and everything thought. I think that's sort of the picture we've all got from it, but nothing's been set in stone. Nothing's been said. Yeah, you will fight for the title or anything like that. So I don't want to put myself too much on that being the case for the next fight. Just got to keep cracking on whoever they put in front of me. Just keep beating whoever they put in front. And but I hope that I get the world title shot for the next one, because that's what I've always wanted to win the Cage Warriors world title ever since I started. So yeah, if I get the chance to do it, I'm going to jump at it, snatch it.
I guess that's an important thing for you, just to stay focused in the fight that's coming up and not let other things get you looking past your opponent. I guess that's pretty important that you keep him in your sights firmly, Paul Hughes. Yeah,
it just keeps me level-headed as well, just focusing on it one fight at a time. Just that I went pro quite early, so I'm in no rush to get the pro fights out the way. I'll just take my time with them. I want to improve between each fight. I want that to be the main thing. I want people to say between each fight, like, yeah, fucking hell, he's got better.
You say that there, you went pro early, but looking at your record, you did go pro early, but there was no really, I mean, you get through to the Sharks pretty early on. It wasn't like a few build-up fights. It was you were in there, like I think Shoaib Yusuf was your second fight. It was ACB.
Yeah, that was what my main coach Danny didn't like, that I was doing it that way. I listened to him a bit more after. I think I jumped in with the experienced guys a bit too quick, thinking about this. It gave me a lot of experience, but at the same time, it's put a loss on my record as well. So I wouldn't change anything because I've learned more from how I've done it. But yeah, I jumped in with the Sharks quite quick, man. Looking back at now, it was a bit mental, but obviously I'm glad I've got the wins against those people. Yeah,
well, I mean, you jumped in with the Sharks, beat you swam, so that's not a terrible thing, is it?
No, exactly that. No, especially that I beat them, so I can't go wrong. Panikos Yusuf, my first one. I even got dropped in that fight as well, and tapped him twice. I tapped him with a guillotine, and then he said he didn't tap. The fight carried on, and then I triangled him. So,
how frustrating is that? I've never actually managed to ask him this question, but you've tapped him, and then the fight actually still continues. How frustrating was that as a fighter?
Yeah, it was weird. I sort of didn't get a chance to either think about it, because it was is it Neil Hall's name is? I had him, and I caught that Panikos in a guillotine against the fence, so he was sort of like crushed, and I was sure he tapped, and I let go, and he sort of like stopped as well, and then the ref went, "What's happened?" And I said, "Oh, he's tapped," and then the ref went, "Oh, I didn't see anything," and we just carried straight on. And at the time, I didn't really think of it too much. I remember just thinking, "You fucker," and then he dropped me after that with a body kick. But nah, so I'm not even 6-1. I'm 7-1 because I've won twice in that fight.
There you go. We need to get Tapology to go on and change that, mate. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And just jump back to your last fight there. I've just managed to watch that fight against Steve Amiable again. Very fun fight. Again, you're getting in there against a guy who's got 3 to 4 times the experience of you. Stevie maybe someone who's a pretty well-known name in the Cage Warriors scene.
Yeah.
When you look back at that fight, it was a really good fight. First round was very close. Actually, all the rounds were really close. What did you take away from that fight?
Do you know what? I've learned just as much from that fight as I would have a loss, I think, just because it was so close and I got beat up and we got to see what I needed to do. I didn't move my head once in the whole fight. And I sort of stood a bit too upright, throwing kicks to like his close side of the body. So a lot of the stuff that I did wrong in that fight, I've corrected. And then the stuff I did right, I've tried to improve on since that. So again, it was just a hard fight, so I've just took a lot away from it again, and I think I'm just going to be a different fighter again for the next time round. Even though it was a short period of time between fights, every single thing that went wrong, we've got straight back to work on it and trying to improve it all.
And how has that been for you going for that fight right into the next trilogy show? Have you quite liked that, not having to
it's
fight
been
again?
Because as Luke would know, I used to get out of shape. I used to go up to 88 kilos in between fights, but this time I didn't get that big. I think the max I weighed in at was about 77 after, and that was me eating that was me on a marathon, binge eating. I know what Luke would have been like, he's binge shagging, but I'm binge eating.
Well, I don't think he's moved north of the border's changed that, to be honest.
Oh, fucking hell, I know. Nothing's going to change that, I'm telling you.
So what
We call him Night Rider up here now.
It was bad down here, I'm telling you. We used to finish training in the cafe, like outside the gym with a beer straight away.
I'll be sniffing around somewhere.
Look, you're having this. You're the champion. You're getting hung out to dry here. What's happening?
I don't know, man.
He used to go to soft touch every single time he finished training. He'd be going soft touch with a beer.
got no money for soft touch now. I've run out.
Well, listen, I guess that segues us right into speaking to Luke. Luke, basically, you got that belt. That was a massive achievement. How has life been since getting the belt? Has anything changed for you? Do you feel any different, or is it just a case of, right, you've achieved what you wanted to achieve, it's now on to defending it?
Yeah, that's it. And there's still a lot of people that rate that Hadley, so I'm pissed off because I've got the belt. I know I'm number one, and then I've got this mouthy white thong in front of me, saying he's the best, and he fooled the whole crowd, man. So, well, online he fooled everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna hurt him, man. And I haven't really had much time to enjoy it because of that little bastard. So I'm gonna make it pay.
And that's the thing, getting into this fight for you. Look, is there a bit more needle in this one? Is this a wee bit more personal than fights before, where things have been respectful, and obviously Hadley has said things in social media and stuff like that. Has that kind of lit another fire under you, should we say?
Yeah, he's good at the promotion, man. But anyone using my name, I'm just gonna take it personally, and I just want to hurt him, man. I'm not going in there like angry, throwing wild, but I'm just going to hurt him and really make him quit. Excellent.
And James, obviously you've got both Luke and Stevie now preparing to fight on the trilogy cards. Does it help at all having the two guys there preparing for fights?
They've actually not been together that much because the way I've been prepping is Luke's in with a little group of training partners in the morning. So he's in with he said Scott Malone done, he said Chris Shaw, the ONE FC fighter, and he said look, these guys in, and we work in a wee group, and then because Stevie's got a job, he'll come in the evening and get his work done with a different group with Danny and Kumley and stuff like that. So it's not really affecting us, and the two guys are working at the same time. I've got two wee groups. They're both fighting completely different stylistic opponents. The game plans are for and both Stevie and Luke couldn't really be much further apart in terms of how they fight. So it's not like, again, pre-COVID where we've got our full team in and everybody's kind of feeding off each other because everybody's getting ready for fights. It's like two little private individual kind of training camps we're doing, but it's given me something to think about. It's been good getting to watch some work with good level guys and just prepping for these opponents. Both the opponents are excellent. They're both a good teams, so it's like a good challenge for Luke and Stevie, and also for the rest of our team going up against these guys.
Yeah. And just for you as a coach, obviously you've now done a few camps through lockdowns, COVID, all that. And has this been the most challenging time of your coaching career in terms of just having to adapt everything and just how it's been for your fighters and you working around the current situation?
It's been, in some ways, it's been all right. Like you can really personalise the training camps. Like everyone's really individualised to. It's me that sorts the sparring partners, the drilling partners. I sort their routines and whatever else. And whereas normally when we've got a full team in, there's 30 plus fighters on the mat, and they wouldn't be getting the same level of priority. But when you've got the 30 plus fighters and the atmosphere's generally better, it's just like you're in there with your whole squad and having a laugh and stuff like that. So it's been challenging in some ways, and in some ways it's been really good. It's almost like more how these professional boxers run their camps, where they'll get a wee group and they'll isolate away from everybody and just kind of get on with the task at hand. So like Stevie's probably had more hands-on attention this camp than any other, because I've not got another 29 fighters on the mat every time he's in. And Luke was always, because Luke was living in the gym and stuff like that, since he's moved up, I've always been really hands-on with him anyway. Like I'll always see Luke one-on-one time a couple of times a week. Whereas with Stevie, I was only getting him maybe once a week when he was fights, getting prepped and stuff like that. But I think everybody's in the same boat really, so it's been decent. But both these guys have got a lot of experience of camps and stuff like that behind them, so it's not really that much different. Yeah,
and just what we've obviously still got Jordan here. What do you? Jordan's obviously got his fight coming up. Like we said, it's a title eliminator. Give me your thoughts, James, on Jordan's fight against Paul.
I think after Jordan's fight, I said to Luke, it'll be Jordan and Paul next. 100% it will be. I knew Luke was going to get Hadley as well, to be fair. And it makes sense. It's like the two best prospects. Maybe one of the best prospects in the UK and Jordan. There's one of the best in Ireland with Paul. And sometimes these prospects have to kind of meet each other. I think I have Jordan's faced harder opposition, I think. I know Paul looked good against Aiden, but I don't think Aiden was getting the best camp for that, to be honest. He came down and sparred with us a couple of times. I know he was doing a lot of his work up in Inverness. And the COVID thing, it obviously affected Aiden there. But the first time I seen Jordan fight was at the Panicos fight. I know who Panicos is because I'm obviously from like a Thai boxing background. I got an email for a promoter once asking if we'd any amateur MMA guys to fight Panicos. At this point, he's like a 4 times world Thai boxing champion. Hadn't lost a fight in 5 years, I think, and he's fought Chris Shawfair. So it catches my interest when Jordan's obviously fought him early, and then I remember his fight with Youssef and just being impressed with his style and stuff like that, his balance and his shot selection and stuff like that. For somebody with only 2 fights, he's mature beyond his kind of experience at that point. So, and then when Luke's moved up, Luke's obviously mentioned Jordan, some of the other boys he's trained with, like Modestus and stuff like that. So you kind of keep an eye on them a wee bit. I think, to be honest, it's going to be the best fight in the whole 3 events. Is Jordan and Paul. I think Luke's fight, then Jordan, and maybe the featherweight man on the Saturday, the Goodwin and the French kid.
Yeah,
potentially be the best 3 fights of the early 3 shows. But Jordan and Paul was the fight I was looking forward to the most. I think it's a step up in opposition for Paul, but he looks like he's ready for it. Whereas I think obviously Jordan's been there with to this point in his career, better opposition. So I think you can see what Jordan's mentioned, that like there's a linear progression between his fights. Every time he fights, he looks better. And Steve Emmill's is no slouch. He's a very, very capable fighter. Again, he beat Aiden. He had that fight with Paul McBain before, and he's always kind of there or thereabouts in the title kind of talk. So I think the winner is probably going to fight the champion. Like whoever wins the title on the Saturday night, it's almost like they've got a number one contender sitting ready for them.
And Jordan, just when you hear that, do you think that's going to be the big difference, or one of the differences in your fight is just the level of competition you've fought throughout your career so far?
Yeah, I think so. I just think if CageWarriors were using me to test him, I'm the wrong person. If you want your guy to win, to test me against, yeah, I just do think that's going to play the part. I've been there in the bad situations. I've been dropped. I've been nearly caught in submissions in fights, and I've always managed to pull through and get the job done. So let's just see if he's able to do that when he's getting it put on him. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't even had that. He hasn't even had anybody put it on him properly yet. So yeah, we're just gonna have to see what happens.
Yeah, and obviously just a follow up as well. I'd be remiss not to ask you this. We've got you on the show. We've got Luke on the show with you. You must have a really good Luke Shanks story you can share with us. I mean, literally just throw him under the bus.
Oh man, what he did was...
Listen, there's too many, man. I'm telling you. I've seen him do some horrible stuff at training, man. There was a guy called Silly Richard here. He used to terrorise him. Do they know about Silly Richard, Luke?
James knows about Silly Richard. He's seen this special belt they've given him.
Yeah, he's done some crazy stuff, man. Putting little Haley in balaclavas and tying her up and all sorts, man. I'd probably get arrested if I told you some of the stuff he's done.
Strapped to the belt.
Yeah, oh shit. Oh, look, here comes your pal.
Oh no, what is he doing out and about? Oh, this one.
I can't even see who they are. Oh, what a crew. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Hang on, this is where this happens.
What's his name again? Harry Hill. It's Harry Hill.
Oh, yeah, this is where Luke. This is what the guy that bloody corrupted Luke to be how he is.
So he was my role model for many years.
I know.
Well, we can see where you get it from anyway. And actually, other question I've got to ask, James, Stevie, Luke, you're here, but who's going to be rooming with Luke this time?
I'm going nowhere near Luke.
Oh.
he's getting Bundy. Now that's a pair. That is the best pair in history. Bundy and me Shags.
Luke and our coach Danny used to share birds between them. Fuck the same bird.
Hey, Bundy's tried to make me tag team a woman with him. Even I got too scared of that one.
Well, we've certainly got all the secrets tonight. I hope Callum tunes in and watches us. Just back to the fights as well. Obviously, James, I want to come to you and speak about obviously Stevie and Luke's opponents. Just give me your thoughts on the fights and the matchups for both guys. If we can get past that, what we just said.
Who do you want first? Stevie's?
Stevie.
So, good fighter. But I said that team's one of my favourite teams. Been keeping an eye on them since Stevie fought Mikel Lebeau for them.
No, this song's far.
Good striker, good footwork. Tends to favour countering and stuff like that. Big at the late, predominantly a boxer. I know he caught Joe McColgan with like a teep to the head and it kind of changed the outcome of the fight, but it was 2 rounds down by then. I think Stevie's a bit more versatile everywhere. He's good range, he's striking, he's got more tools striking wise, he's very confident grappler, he's good on the fence and stuff, where I think Mehdi is like a similar version to Fadine that Luke fought, only he doesn't kick as much, he boxes. He likes to be, the lateral movement. His takedown defence is pretty good, but I don't think you need to worry about him pushing for grappling exchanges too much. But he's a nice fluid puncher, which you see in the McColgan fight. But there's some gaps there. But I'm expecting him to be better than he was that time and more confident, because Joe McColgan's a good victory for him.
And then obviously on to look who's fighting Jake Hadley. So
I think you pretty much find out who's the best flyweight in Europe with that fight. He's everything. The kid's 24. He's everything you would expect in a modern kind of MMA fighter. He's reasonably well rounded. He's athletic. Again, he's for a good team and stuff like that. But again, I think if you look at who he's fought, it's been guys that he's had a physical advantage on. The biggest win's kind of playing O'Driscoll at Bellator, who is much bigger and stronger than. And then obviously Shaj Hack in the last fight, who, no disrespect to Shaj, he was a phenomenal fighter back in the day, but he had a lot of time out there. And you can see in the difference in it with the guys with 35. There's a 24-year-old athlete who's on the rise and hungry. I don't think he's fought anybody who's got the physicality that Luke's got. Like Luke's going to be 100.
Big Reece Street before. Jordan knows about Reece Street.
I don't count Reece Street. He's not been in it. Luke's more physical than any guys he's fought so far. Luke will be about 145 pounds on the night of the fight.
Yeah,
maybe more if he keeps eating cheese. And again, Luke's got some new stuff in his game. From even for the Fadine fight, he never got to show a lot. His skill set in the Fadine fight, because he was super dominant in the areas that he picked to put it. But if you go back and look at his kind of body work across the last 3 fights for Conor Higgins to Menga, it'll give you more a better understanding that he's a lot more well-rounded now than what he was. Yeah. But I see that being it's going to be a fight, and Luke's going to probably put Jake in places he's not been before. And we'll see how he deals with that. But I think again that way with Jordan versus Paul Hughes, the fights are going to stand out over the 3 shows. They're UFC level fights. Like the winner of Luke and Hadley, I could see Luke and Jake Hadley going to the UFC eventually. They're both young, 24, 25. The winner of that's probably going to go there quicker, obviously, but eventually they'll both be there. I think it's a UFC level fight. Both the guys will win fights in UFC now, and I think the same could be said with Jordan and Paul as well.
And I just need to clarify, by the way, guys, or for anybody watching, that sound you're hearing is not somebody's belly rumbling or anything like that. That's James's dogs snoring in the background, just in case you're wondering what that noise is. It's no because you are getting close to fight night, and you're hungry. It's just the dogs are snoring in the background.
Just the wee one.
Aye. So that's what that noise is, by in case you were wondering. And I guess that's saying for. I mean, I'll let you all jump in on this. I guess that's saying for you all is to put a good win streak together on the CageWarriors, eventually get to a belt, or like you have got a belt, and then move on to that UFC. Because right now that is the best route to get to the UFC, and it is through CageWarriors. I'm assuming that's everybody's goals at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I feel it's the best avenue to get there. I think kind of proven rate of guys that tend to win the belt at CageWarriors more than likely go to the UFC. So I kind of at the stage Luke's at the now. I think Luke's unlucky not to actually be signed to the UFC already, to be honest. Especially at flyweight, where there's more opportunities. I feel like obviously they'll try to do away with that division and that, but I feel like there's more opportunities for the smaller or bigger guys to get there quicker. But if Luke when Luke wins this fight, I mean they can't deny him the opportunity of the UFC. It's like he's got to get there.
That's it. And Jordan, I guess the same for you, mate. Yeah.
I got into it wanting to be a UFC fighter, not a Bellator fighter or anything like that, or to say I'm a 1FC fighter. So Yeah, that's been the game plan, the goal. And obviously, me and Luke coming from originally, obviously, I know Luke's at high level now, but BST, Danny always said he wanted one of us to be a CageWarriors World Champion as well. So he sort of got his wish with Luke. He sort of got it with Modestas. But yeah, so.
Between the two gyms, we'll definitely own the whole roster soon, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you want. And look, for you, you've achieved that now, so it is about getting that next win and then moving into the UFC, and especially the flyweight division at the moment. It is a good division to be going into. There's a lot of good, talented fighters in there, but there is opportunities to get in there and do very well, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, man.
And so just a couple of more things. Obviously, Stevie, it's been great now that you've got matched and you're on a big show. I'm assuming that's making you feel a bit better about the current football situation.
We'll not get into that then, mate.
I had to say something.
Yeah, to be fair, I think for the 6 or 7 years I've known you, you've not really had much to shout about, so I'll let you have it a moment.
No, I'm able to smile for once. It's perfect. And James, for you, these CageWarriors trilogy shows, they've been, the first one was fantastic, and it looks like we're lined up to have another fantastic one. And CageWarriors now announcing that they're going to be going out to the States as well. Do you see CageWarriors just continuing to grow as a promotion and obviously expand now out with Europe?
I think so, man. They had that spell where the shows in the Middle East and stuff before, and they've done shows in America before. I think we've been working on CageWarriors for about 15 or 16 years, like before even Graham took over and stuff like that. We've had maybe 20 fighters on it now. But it's always been one of the better shows in Europe. They seem to be, the pandemic things obviously put a lot of shows at the game for a spell. So CageWarriors have went above and beyond to keep these fights on for some of these kids, because they can't really be losing a year of their career when you're 24 and 25. It's a bad thing, man. So it's been good for these guys. So I think the American thing will just give the guys an opportunity to go over in America and fight Americans, which they all want to do. They want to test themselves against the guys. And then it's obviously on Fight Pass and stuff like that. So it's just going to keep providing them for pathways to the UFC if they keep performing and keep winning.
And the other thing is as well, you see some of the guys that are going into the UFC, and I don't mean to disparage them or anything like that, but you see some of the guys from the Contender series and stuff like that, then you look at the level of the guys on CageWarriors, it feels like sometimes there's a difference in levels between the two, but it just seems like Contenders is a good route for a lot of guys as well.
It's definitely a better level at CageWarriors. The Contender thing's a hit or miss. You get some of the guys coming through who are pretty good. But for every one good guy, it seems to be there's 5 or 6 very, very average. I think the standard in the regional shows in America is not as great as it is in parts of Europe. And then the thing at CageWarriors is you're not getting the option to pad your record. Like it's not like some of these guys that. There was a guy that I think it was 2 UFCs ago. He was 11-0. He fought that guy Chaos Williams, and he got knocked out in 15 seconds. And then you go and dive into his record a wee bit, and he never fought anybody with a winning record till he was 10-0 or something. And you don't have the luxury of that at CageWarriors. You're going to get matched. Ian Dean matches these guys relatively fair. And if you can put together a wee winning streak there, then you're going to be ready for the UFC, because again, the top end of the cards is all UFC level fights, like we've said. And most of the guys you see coming for CageWarriors, they don't tend to do too bad in the UFC. They never look out of place. Even if they're not like challenging for titles and shit like that, they're still competitive to an extent and get on to second and third contracts and stuff like that. So I think the standard's better at CageWarriors than it is in some of these other places.
And we've had champions from CageWarriors going to the UFC and become champions of the UFC, and I guess that's another thing for all you guys fighting as well. You've seen guys go from CageWarriors and go into the UFC and win a belt, so you all know it's attainable and doable.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, listen, we'll sort of wrap up on this, lads. Just quickly before we go, James, is there anything else you want to jump in with before we wrap up with Jordan, Stevie, or Luke?
Nah, I'm good, man. I'll see you two in the gym tomorrow. And Jordan, I'll see you next week, dude. I hope the last of your prep and the weight cut goes well, man. I'm looking forward to your fight.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm looking skinnier than these two, man. These two have been eating good steroids, living the good life.
Oh,
Don't talk about Luke's weight, man.
That was average, man. Look, you never have that. Let me see.
Luke's got me belly.
We've got to ask you as well.
If there was a weight class below flyweight, Luke still wouldn't have abs, I'm telling you.
Hey, I'll tell you what, they might actually come out for this one. Believe it or not.
Jordan, obviously, looking that up first, so you might be free. Would you consider going in and helping Luke at all with the weight cut or doing anything like that?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I'm saying that. I'm not helping him, man, with weight cut. I heard the last one was a hard one, though. I've seen James's thing when he said if the fight's as entertaining as the weight cut.
Well, that would maybe be a perfect way to end the show. Stevie, you've seen it.
I've never seen the likes of that.
Let's tell Jordan a bit about how that went. When I'm sure you'll be able to chime in here, Luke, if you want.
I didn't think he was going to make it, to be honest. But to be fair, I mean, he dug deep. But he was shouting about the bath being the bath was like lukewarm, and he was like, "It's too hot. You're scalding me. Fucking." I was just moaning, skin's melting, and then oh man, absolute diva. Never seen anything like it. But to be fair to him, man, he done it. So I'll take my hat off to him. Fair play to him. And it didn't affect his performance, so he done a good job. But we're not going through that again. There's no way I'm sitting with him doing that again.
And Luke, I've got to ask you while you're here, was the bath too hot?
Man, you don't need it that hot. I just run kettles in every 5 minutes.
This time me and him are sharing a bath, so we're not doing that. We're talking tail. We're in it at the same time.
That could be interesting. Listen, lads, obviously, thanks very much for coming on. I know fight week's approaching. And obviously for all these best of luck on the night. And it was a pleasure to speak to you all.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Oh, thank you.
Right. Thank you.